random things on locomotives that keep me up at night. If you've watched my channel in the past, you know darn well I'm one of the pickiest foamers on the planet. And you'll also know I'm really good at yapping, so today we'll be doing a little more of that. Hit that like button for a free heritage unit and subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you so much to my extremely dedicated fans. P3s on SD70M-2s. If you've watched the latest Hinkley sub rail fanning video of mine, you'll know that I've been seeing a ton of CN power. In general, I've seen a lot anyways, but I think the SD70M-2s are a very solid looking piece of machinery. I'm a huge fan of the aggressive look of these later SD70 models such as the Ace, SD70M-2, not to mention the SD70 ACU, but they're exempt from this because I don't even know what the heck those horns are supposed to be on those things. Anyways, generally, at least on the majority of M-2s, they have that great K5 LLA, but there is, however, a pretty big percentage of CN's fleet that happen to have a P3, and it just does not fit the locomotive at all. I think a good comparison for a P3 on a 70M-2 would be like a Honda Ridgeline on a 4-foot lift or some crap. I don't know, but the fact of it is it just doesn't need to exist in the first place, but they certainly don't belong together. When I think of a P3, the first thing that comes to my mind would be a tiny little end cab switcher or a Jeep or something weak, not a powerful giant like the SD70. All the junk on BNSF standard cab locomotives. BNSF is my absolute favorite railroad. I love their scheme, I love their fallen flags, their heritage. They have the coolest network, and I've just always seen that they're very iconic to me. I have to say though, their fleet of standard cab locomotives, Jeeps especially, are a little spooky. I think they wear H4 pretty well, but my gosh, what did they do to the roof of the cab? And I don't just mean AC. I dislike the way AC looks on top, but it's better than ending up with an open door shot or worse, the crew suffocating. I'm willing to live with AC units on top, even though I slightly prefer units without it for no particular reason. I'm mostly talking about the hideous metal bars and racks and all that junk on top of the cab. I know, everything is there for a reason, but for some reason, every other Class 1 standard cab engines look hella fine to me as far as junk on the roof goes. Even the units on BNSF without AC still have some form of rack on top. I just don't understand. It really burns though, because BNSF would have the greatest fleet of standard cabs if it wasn't for that one small thing, but it's pretty major to me. I can't stand those unibrows. GP60Ms. Okay, calm down. GP60Ms are among my favorite types of engines ever. I've always thought of the GP60M as like a mix between a Jeep and a B40-8W. It's got the wide cab of a B40, the 4-axle truck, and the characteristics of a Jeep. Very solid locomotive. I think they're just so cool, and I'm very glad that BNSF rebuilt them and continues to use them even into today. But even the greatest things in life have their little flaws, and in the case of the almost perfect GP60M, that would be the off-centered headlight. I didn't notice it until my second time seeing one, but holy crap, that really irritates me. Simply because of this awful tragedy, I rate the GP60M an 8.5 out of 10 rather than an 11 out of 10. I still foam like crazy over these though, because they're super nice locomotives. Another thing I'd like to mention about the GP60M, and this is more just on the topic of paint rather than actual, locomotive characteristics, and that is the fact that 90% of them have the small BNSF lettering on the nose, which doesn't look nearly as good as the few that wear it big, similarly to the H4 SD75Ms. I'm actually not entirely sure as to why some have it big. If any knowledgeable people watching happen to know, please drop a comment if you'd like. I'm curious. CSX SD40-3s. Class 1's rebuilding old power? I'm a huge fan. They simply do not do it enough. CSX sure does though. I'm very proud of them. At least they did that right. Unlike well, it's all fun and games until the SD40-3. It seriously looks similar to a standard cab Dash 8, except it's supposed to be an EMD. I have to say the main reason I think EMDs look so nice is because of how rounded off they are. I just can't get enough of those round edges. But then the SD40-3 comes in and totally demolishes the EMD feel for more of that boxy GE look. And I'm sure you know how I feel about GE. Would I still foam over one of these? No doubt. I'll probably never see one though, so I don't really have to worry about it that much. It's something I find myself thinking about quite often though, for whatever reason. The paint of CP hydrogen locomotives. I think the idea of a hydrogen powered locomotive sounds pretty cool. Whether or not it'll prove to be any level of successful, I don't really know. But bro, if I start seeing this abomination of a paint scheme on a daily basis, I hope it fails. In all seriousness though, this is kind of a UP 1979 sort of situation. Perfect locomotive choice, worst paint job imaginable. Honestly, remembering the existence of these upped my respect for 1979, because this is just the ugliest thing not only to ride the rails, but also to ever be designed. To whoever came up with this, I'd like to say, you have really bad taste. But to whoever approved it and thought it was a good idea, that's maybe not appropriate to share with YouTube. I never saw the day neon green and all this junk would be the color on a locomotive, but here we are. Sad times if I'm completely honest. Alright, that's enough yapping for now. Thanks for watching and a huge shout out and thank you to all my channel members. Isaiah Vandy, Josh Norston, Tag Route, Pasco Rail Productions, The Cary Railfan, BNSF Bishop, Trains of Southwest Michigan, Captain Morgan 757, Train Productions, Rebecca S, and Georgia Rail Videos. I'll see y'all in the next one.